Now, the quartering is once again a mindless piece of garbage who really would be better off just quitting YouTube entirely. We would also be better off. However, he is back only 2 days ago, posting a video simping for Lauren Chen. Now, for those of you who don't know, Lauren Chen was recently exposed as being involved, allegedly, with funneling money in from Russia and deceiving other influencers to further propagate civil unrest here in America and to further benefit Russia's interests. Lauren Chen and her husband have been exposed as owning the company responsible for taking all this Russian money. The Department of Justice indicted their company. The company, according to business records and whatnot, has been confirmed to belong to Lauren Chen and her husband. So after these allegations, and after the indictment was filed, YouTube swiftly banned Lauren Chen and all of the Tenet Media channels. Tenet Media is the name of the company that Lauren Chen and her husband owned that was taking the money from Russia. Tenet Media, all of those YouTube channels were banned, as well as Lauren Chen's YouTube channel. Now, a lot of conservatives are mad about this because there wasn't even a trial yet. I mean, even the quartering says innocent until proven guilty, because he's saying it's like the opposite. He's saying like what's happening right now with her is that it's guilty until proven innocent. First and foremost, do we all want to take a little walk down memory lane when Lauren Chen said,
I don't believe in democracy. I believe individual rights and limited government are way more important than the idea of...
So she doesn't believe in democracy. Guess what? Due process, a fair trial, these are all pretty core aspects of American democracy. And if Lauren Chen doesn't believe in democracy, okay, there you go. A nice little taste of your own medicine. Second of all, YouTube can absolutely ban somebody over allegations, over an indictment, really anything. This isn't being thrown in prison here. We're talking about removing someone's YouTube channel.
I'm hoping that this will be the last we have to talk about the Tenet Media stuff, although I suspect there will be some future...
I hope this is the last that you ever have to talk. And yes, I have the speed turned up because this man talks so slow. Clearly the diabetes has begun to kick in, but let's begin.
Follow-up. The real people who are hurt by this, obviously, is the content creators who, even according to the DOJ, had no idea whatsoever of any kind of alleged outside interference or control, which hasn't even been proven. And now people like Tim and Benny and baby buying Dave Rubin are all getting their reputation smeared. And people who are hardworking on-the-street journalists like Taylor Hansen is out of a job. Their social media.
You literally smear people's careers all the time. You smear people's careers over the simplest thing, like over teachers being gay. You would smear that person's career. So what the fuck are you talking about? Second of all, this isn't any more of a smear on their career as much as it is the consequences of what they did. Listen, if we're going to believe Tim Pool when he said he really didn't know, he genuinely was deceived by Lauren Chen, he didn't know it was Russian money and all this shit. If we're going to believe that, fine. He didn't know, but he still took the money. He obviously didn't do his due diligence when it came to researching this contract or finding out where they're getting this insane amount of money and all this other shit. He didn't take the time for that. And now he's facing the consequences and the fallout for that mistake. That's called being a public figure. When you go through shit, it's a public spectacle. If you are a public figure like Tim Pool or Benny Johnson, and then it comes out that you allegedly unknowingly took money from Russia, then yeah, you're going to get a little bit of you're going to get roasted a bit. Once again, a conservative wants freedom of speech, hates freedom of consequences.
Commander, out of a job with no notice, no severance, no nothing. Just a simple Discord paragraph saying that the business was done, cooked. I believe that was sent by Lauren Chen's husband, Liam. There's plenty to talk about whether or not Lauren and Liam knew what they were doing was potentially in the gray. There's plenty to talk about in terms of the hypocrisy. Look, if Lauren and Liam knew what they were doing was wrong and then knowingly deceived content creators, or if the DOJ actually has any evidence whatsoever of, the Kremlin saying, make this video, and then a creator made that video, then I would support them getting in trouble. But I don't.
The indictment literally says founder 1 and founder 2, which is Lauren and her husband Liam. Lauren and Liam worked together to mask US Company One's true source of funding by falsely portraying to Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 that US Company 1 was sponsored by a private investor. Even looking through this indictment, Quartering says, maybe if you could show me that, the Kremlin said make this video, then they made it, then maybe they should get in trouble. But, it says right here, while the views expressed in the videos are not uniform, the subject matter and content of the videos are often consistent with the government of Russia's interest in amplifying U.S. domestic divisions in order to weaken U.S. opposition to core government of Russia interests, such as its ongoing war in Ukraine. We watched the clip of Tim Pool himself say, Ukraine is America's biggest enemy.
I guarantee Tim Pool and, Benny Johnson, I think Benny Johnson, I don't know if he got terminated from them long before this happened or his deal was dissolved with them quite some time ago. Or maybe he quit. I don't know. Matt Christensen, Baby Buying Dave Rubin. I don't suspect any of these people taking any, hey, make this video and then go make the video. Why? Because they're all super rich already. I don't think Tim Pool would be doing that for any amount of money. Benny Johnson is enormously wealthy. He's not going to take that kind of risk for any kind of money. And people like Matt Christensen are pretty set. And Dave Rubin has money to buy babies, so he's doing well. The net sum of this is what appears to be, at least in my opinion, some sort of Fed honeypot. And just in my opinion, I have not seen any evidence of Mother Russia telling Tim Pool or Benny Johnson to make any video. Yet every single article is featuring their face. Some of them hilariously featuring an overweight Asian man with a beanie who is in fact not Tim Pool. The other side of this, Lauren Chen, who was the co-founder of the website, who...
Yeah, exactly. Really? They're already rich. How can they be influenced by money? Right, yep. Because it's super, super common for people that are really wealthy to say, you know what? Nah, I have enough money, actually. I don't need any more money. Nah, you keep the change, buddy, because that's just so fucking common, right?
Took the $10 million, by the way, terminated from Blaze, fired from Blaze Media. I don't know what capacity she was with Blaze, why she would have a job with Blaze if she was running Tenet Media. That seems weird anyway. And I'm also not hearing a single shred of information about any kind of charges for either Lauren Chen or Liam Chen, or whatever Liam's last name is.
So do you need to be charged now in order to have your YouTube channel deleted? She was indicted by the Department of Justice for allegedly being involved with funneling Russia propaganda, or at least beneficial coverage of American politics. Who cares if there's no charges? She's not in prison.
I think this is all much ado about nothing. And I got to be honest with you, this may make you recoil a little bit, may make you feel uncomfortable, but $10 million ain't nothing. $10 million isn't really a lot of money to be, producing propaganda. And, I don't think that anywhere in this paperwork, by the way, does it say, hey, Russia requested this, and then they did it. That doesn't exist. That's why the DOJ paperwork says that Tim Pool and Benny are actually victims in all of this. It's entirely possible also, by the way.
Yeah, but they were being paid to make certain videos that at least sowed division, civil unrest, which was beneficial for Russia. Sowing civil unrest in this country, turning more people against Ukraine, that is beneficial for Russia. We saw clips of Tim Pool deliberately shitting on Ukraine.
But I don't know that it matters anymore. This is psychotic. Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is our enemy, being funded by the Democrats. I will stress this again.
So, okay. Also, did this guy literally just say that $10 million isn't a lot? I don't know many people that would say, $10 million, meh, I'll keep my minimum wage job. I'm good.
In all of this. It's entirely possible also, by the way, that Lauren Chen and Liam are victims in this. Maybe they had no idea. Maybe they just said, hey, some crazy billionaire wants to fund this thing and his name's Gregorian, whatever, and they took the money. I know that everyone loves it when creators talk about money and business.
Then how come Lauren and her husband worked together to mask the true source of funding by falsely portraying to other commentators that the US company was sponsored by a private investor when it was not founded or sponsored by a private investor? It was sponsored by Russia. Now, Quartering's trying to say to all of us, maybe they were victims too. Maybe they didn't know. Tell me you didn't even scan through the indictment without telling me.
I know that everyone loves it when creators talk about money and business, but this is not that much money. And basically when you're talking about starting a news media company, I started the Publica on $0, and all we've done is continue to lose money. So like, we have a great team there, but yeah, don't you think the Daily Wire had investors? Don't you think the Blaze, Blaze has investors? Don't you think that, all this kind of stuff? And, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, do you think the DOJ would have been doing all this if Lauren Chen took $10 million from Israel to report news and was telling her staff to report on pro-Israel stuff? No, never.
This is whataboutism. Second of all, pro-Israel stuff is also, you could argue, is in line with American interests at the end of the day. I know that not all Americans have an interest in supporting Israel, but I mean that generally speaking, American foreign affairs tend to be more on the side of Israel.
The Department of Justice would never have said anything about it.
That's because, again, taking money from Israel is an entirely different thing than taking money from Russia for an express purpose of sowing civil unrest to benefit a foreign entity and a foreign nation. America and Israel work together. A lot of people don't like that, but America tends to always side overwhelmingly with Israel. You just like randomly and arbitrarily pointing at some imagined hypocrisy. It's not really compelling.
You guys know me. I'm not a noticer. Okay, I'm not like a Jew's bad guy. I'm just using Israel as an example. There are many organizations, universities, and otherwise that take a lot of money in every year from China. Is the Department of Justice bringing them down to their knees? Are they parading them out with these indictments? No, they're not doing that. How about all the streamers that are undoubtedly paid by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and others to promote Islam to American youth? Those people, I would be willing to bet, exist. Large streamers who suddenly could...
So he's literally just like imagining hypocrisies?
I think they're getting paid for that. I don't know. But is our government, is the Department of Justice investigating that for 2 months before the election? No. What they're investigating is a conservative outlet that is mostly full of dissident liberals or ex-liberals or in some cases outright conservatives who are generally pro-Trump, except for Lauren Chen, who apparently was telling people not to vote for Trump. And again, I want to point out, this is the fallout. Everyone, look, Tim's fine. I don't think Benny was even working with him anymore. Dave Rubin, I guess, remember, has baby buying money. He's fine. Matt Christensen's fine. These guys all had like big followings before and they'll have big followings after. It's unfortunate, though, that now their names are getting smeared. I was in Tim's chat this morning, and there was all these weirdos calling him a Russian shill and all this stuff, which is, he obviously isn't, okay? There's people who are saying, you have people like Sebastian Gorka coming out there and saying, well, I knew it was a Russian op all along. It's weird. It feels manufactured. And I have seen no evidence that this $10 million didn't come from our own federal government, in some weird honeypot trap.
Are you so bizarre and so off your rocker that now you are literally alleging that the U.S. government entrapped Lauren Chen into a scheme? Even more so, leaked messages included in the indictment show Lauren Chen and her husband deliberately saying, we got paid by the Russians today, so we're all good to go. Everything's on schedule. The Russians paid us today. They said that. That's documented in the fucking indictment. And no, this wasn't fucking entrapment. This is so embarrassing. Right here. In their private correspondence while working directly for RT pursuant to Founder 1's written contract, Founder 1 and Founder 2, which is Lauren and her husband, regularly referred to their sponsor as the Russians. For example, on or about May 12th, 2021, Founder 2 messaged Founder 1 on Discord, quote, so we're billing the Russians from the corporation, right? On May 22nd, another Discord message said, quote, also, the Russians paid, so we're good to bill them for the second month, I guess. On June 2nd, they messaged each other again and said, quote, also, I say we bill the Russians for the last month once we're done the extra op-eds. On January 5th, 2022, Founder 1 and 2 messaged, Founder 2 messaged an acquaintance on Discord about paid leave that, quote, the Russians had offered to Founder 1. Here's 4 different indications that Lauren Chen and her husband knew it was coming from Russia, and they kept on fucking doing it. So there you go, Quartering. Here's the evidence. Why is Lauren Chen saying, well, the Russians paid us today, haha? Was that just the U.S. government doing a big entrapment scheme? They paid a Canadian conservative commentator $10 million US to entrap her so that her YouTube channel would get deleted? Go write some fan fiction and shut the fuck up.
The most egregious thing probably is now big tech, okay, YouTube and other platforms have started deplatforming. Not only did they deplatform Tenet immediately, but they deplatformed Lauren Chen, all of her other channels, even her pop culture channels, and there has been no conviction. There has only been an indictment, which is only a formal complaint, a formal accusation. It is not. Oh, it is not a conviction.
No, a prosecutor must present evidence to a grand jury to obtain an indictment, and the grand jury must find probable cause to believe the defendant is guilty. In order for this complaint to even be filed, it must include evidence. So I'm sorry, Quartering, it's a little more than just a written complaint of somebody in the government being like, Lauren Chen is bad, post. No, okay? This was submitted to a grand jury. They had probable cause, okay? And that then led to the indictment.
So without any conviction, big tech removed all of their journalistic work, all of the work of the people that work for Tenet, who, again, the DOJ admits we don't have, that they didn't even know, right? They didn't know, so they're the victims in this. Doesn't matter. YouTube deleted all their videos. And then you have Lauren herself, who has not been convicted and has channels of 1 million+ subscribers deleted just for the accusation.
Again, it's not just an accusation. He's acting like somebody on Twitter, like, posted like, hi, I'm a federal U.S. government agent, and I'm reporting to say that Lauren Chen is a bad person who took money from Russia. And then YouTube just, like, deleted her channel. No. There's a hell of a lot more here than just a baseless accusation. Okay, it's a fucking indictment by the Department of Justice. Well, thank you, Quartering, for coping and lying nonstop. He literally he did nothing. He added nothing to the conversation. He lied. He claimed that he didn't see evidence, even though the evidence was available to see. And then he just somehow managed to marathon ramble to 12 minutes. Okay, so this brings a little bit more clarity in here. So here's what happened. The outlet, RT, formerly known as Russia Today, was sanctioned after the invasion of Ukraine and was forced to cease operations in Canada, United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union. The indictment alleges that RT used third parties to get around the sanctions and convinced online media commentators to broadcast their productions. They're absolutely screwed. So that's really the big problem here. RT, trying to get around sanctions, was trying to get their propaganda still into Canada, United States, United Kingdom, and they used Lauren Chen to then dupe other influencers into furthering their bullshit. Way to go, Quartering. Yeah, but definitely not influenced by Russia. Okay. Dude, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Quartering, but oh my god. If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today. Members get early access to videos, access to all the stream VODs, and exclusive access to emotes as well. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a member today.